as we celebrate Autism Awareness Month, this is a book, an informational text that's going to give us a lot of information, right? Because we know that people with autism are all different, but this is going to give us some information about some of the things that we need to know to be a good friend to people with autism. This is a book, an epic. It's called Understanding Autism. What is autism? It means that someone's brain might work differently than ours, okay? It says people with autism can have trouble communicating and behaving with others. It is important to accept and appreciate people's differences. You can show you accept and appreciate others by trying to learn about them. You might politely ask if they'll share how autism affects them. And like we talked about before, a person with autism does not look a certain way. So the only way that we can understand how to be a good friend is to listen and to ask questions, to understand, okay? Over here it says autism is different for everyone. Some autistic people have trouble talking to others. Others rarely speak at all, but a person with autism could also talk and sound just like you or I do. Always use respectful language. This includes respecting how someone with autism chooses to identify. A classmate may call herself an autistic person, or she may call herself a person with autism. Be sure to ask your classmate which language she prefers. Remember, people with disabilities are not victims. This word makes it sound like having a disability is a bad thing, but disability simply means difference, right? A disability just means that someone's brain needs different things to learn their best. So there's some language that we like to talk about. As a teacher of people with autism, I try to think about the person coming first. Person first language puts a person before their disability. And we know that people with autism are not defined by their disabilities. It simply means that their brain might be more sensitive to things, or they might need something different to be their best learner. Person first language is saying this: I'm a person with autism, or a student with autism. The word student or person comes first. Autism affects how people talk and act with others. Some people with autism may have trouble understanding how other people are feeling. They might have trouble making his or her feelings known. They might avoid looking at others in the eyes or have a hard time keeping up a conversation. They might not know if someone is joking or teasing. And they might not understand, like we talked about before, how somebody's body language or the way that we move our body, what they're trying to say. And sometimes they might have trouble understanding simple questions. There's also some pretty amazing superpowers that somebody with autism might have. And we know that people with autism are really extra sensitive to things that we might not even notice, right? A person with autism might be so super tuned into how their friends are feeling, or tuned in to their favorite activity, like trains. It also says that autism can affect how people move. Some people with autism may move their body in a special way by engaging in something repetitive, flapping their hands or rocking their body. They might have trouble with different body movements or balance, or they might make faces or not express emotion in the way that we do. Just because a person does this does not mean anything, but we can be sensitive as friends and we can learn more about them. Some people might need to have a special routine and be very aware of what things happen at what times. They might be affected by bright light or certain loud noises. Like we talked about, they might be sensitive to clothing or foods. They might have a special interest in one topic or subject. They might talk about their favorite thing a lot without realizing that the listener is not as interested in them or in that activity. And they might not realize if they're in someone's personal space, or they might be sensitive and need personal space. Each person is different, and so our job as a good friend to a person with autism is to ask, before we do something. For example, if I want to hug my friend, but I'm not sure if they want to be touched, I can ask, can I give you a hug now? Or should we high five? Exactly. So we can ask a question. Or if you're noticing that your friend all of a sudden is very distracted, you might say, oh, is there something that's making it hard for you to focus? Maybe we can turn off the lights, or maybe we can make a quiet classroom. We know that every person has different communication needs, right? Like translation, translating from one language to another. In this case, people with autism might use pictures, they might write something down, they might use a device like an iPad to help them communicate. They might have a trusted friend that knows what they need and talk to that person only. It depends on the person. But Ivan, like you said, the best thing we can do is ask questions and find out more information. Thank you.